रिकॉर्ड कर लो बढ़िया
Okay, so welcome everyone. Today we will just have an introduction and overview of graph database and how can we use Arango for that. So let's start with first graph database. Okay, so before going into the understanding what is graph database, first understand what is graph. So that's collection of vertices and edges. That's the academic definition we might have heard in our college or school. So yeah, that's just a collection of vertices and edges. If you can remember it. So I mean, not much useful for our things. Yeah, then what? That's the main thing. Graph database. So how graph database is used is so if we compare it to relational database, that's more relevant to us because everyone has worked with the relational database. So first, when we want to develop anything, we create the entities. We define them on a whiteboard. We draw the ER diagram and then convert into the table. Now, what happens in graph database is the same we have drawn in our whiteboard, same way we store in the database. So that is something graph database. We will see the modeling as well. So that will give you more idea. So yeah, the advantage of graph database is there is no predefined model. Like in relational database, we have first employee or organization like student. This predefined model is there. In graph, we don't have a predefined model. Yeah, as I said, first whatever we have drawn on the board, same way we store into the database. Yes, and to store it, there are three main kind of things used. First is the node. So that's the individual record, we could say. So in table, we have record. Same way in graph database, that individual record is represented by a node. A relationship between two nodes, that is edge, and the properties. So everything will be the key value pair. I think we'll get more idea when we see one live example. Okay, and now this is the brief comparison. What is the difference? Yeah, so graph database obviously stored in graph. In RDBMS, it's stored in tables. In graph, there are nodes. In RDBMS, there are rows. Then on graph, we have key value. In RDBMS, we have column and data. And graph, we traverse from one node to another node. And in RDBMS, we use join. So we can also use join in graph, but that's, I mean, it's not widely used. Okay, now we'll see the modeling part. Okay, can you see my screen now? Hello?
Yes, browser, right?
Okay. So like, let's take an example of first relational database. Like what we do is we define different entities here. Let's say this is the employee and this is organization. So we consider this is our model. We defined a table for that, and for this organization we define a table for that, and in same model, same schema, we need to store the data. So how this will be different in graph? Okay, so yes, so in graph, this is our one node. So let's define it is a person. Okay, so now it's person, there might have some attributes, some properties. So we define the properties. So every person will have name, so, every age, so 25, then there's a gender. male. Okay. I think the example we can take of a social network. So that is, I mean, it will be very much understandable with that example. So here one person in a no, I mean one person. So in graph, we represent this as a node. It has these properties, and there might, what we do is we create another node. This is again a person. Let's say property same. It has also name. James. Gender male. Yes, and so this two are node. This both are person, and we defined a relationship between them using this edge. So this edge also can have property, and that also needs to be defined. That, I mean, apart from what type of relationship is. So let's say the type of relationship is friends. Okay, so John and James, they both have friends. Property could be like they are friends from 2010. Okay, so this is the one relationship between them. Now let's say we create one more node that is also a person. Property name. Let's take any female example. Mary and age 22. Female. Now we can see this both person are connected as well, but we can define relationship between them. It can be, let's take example, they are friends as, I mean, let's example they are married. So they are, that's the relationship between them is spouse. Okay, now, so yeah, that's the relationship between kind of same node. It is also, we can also add relationship between like, okay, this is a person, John, he owns, he has a car. So let's say caption is car. Property can be the details of car. City. So yeah, now one relationship we can form is, as we can see, this both are married, but it can be possible that they both, like Mary also drives this car, so we can establish the relationship between them, between the same car. Okay, here we need to define relationship, that's owns. So basically John owns this car, but Mary also drives this car. Yeah, yeah. This relationship can have their own properties as well. So I hope you get idea what we're trying to do. So let's add some more node, and it might look a proper graph. This person names, let's yeah. Friends. Okay, now let's add one node which is connected to all the person. We can see kind of in Facebook or LinkedIn city, right? So let's say they all live in the same city. So we can establish a relation between. So we can say this three person Okay, so we have established the relationship between like these three people are living in same city, London. It may be possible that these two are living in a different city. So now if we see like here, if let's say we want to find all the people or the persons living in London, we just need to start with this node and we just need to traverse it to all the connected nodes. So if we traverse it, we get this three person. In same way, if you want to traverse to the find the people living in New York, we just need to start from this node. And like same way we can do traverse, like we can find mutual friends, like so we have a person and what's like in LinkedIn we have first connection, though these two people are the first connection, but for John, this Richard and these two are the second connections. So this is how kind of modeling we can do in graph. Like any questions? Hello.
Yeah, Mayur. No questions.
Fine. I think then we can see the kind of live example with Arango. Arango supports the graph. So what we can do is, okay, we have a database ready. We need to add collections. So it's the same way we do in other NoSQL database. We define the collection. So if we see this graph, we have this type of collection: person, city, and car. We have three types of collection. So we defined persons. It's a type document created. We add cars. Again, that's document. Then we add city. That's again document. Okay. So now we have the collections ready. So as we see this, these are the collection. Now we need to define this edge collection as well, because we have to define the what is the relationship between, what are the possibility of relationship between two nodes. So it can be same node as well. It can be a different node as well. It is also possible to add multiple relationship with two same type of node. Okay. So we do this. Okay, so we have the ready. We just need to add some data. So let's add the property. we have collection of persons already. Just need some. Okay, yeah, so we have collection ready. We have one car, two cities, and persons, four persons. Okay, now we'll create, we have also defined the edges, how this node can be connected to each other. Now let's create a graph. So create a graph. So we need to provide edge definition over here. Yes, friends. So friends, how can be this connected from which collection to which collection? So it will be persons, person होगा, person मतलब friends, person ही हो सकता है, दूसरा friends, तो persons ही आएगा. We'll add more. दूसरा आएगा यहाँ से lives है, तो आएगा person to कौन सा city में रहता है, तो city आएगा. Then once, two, cards. House. Person to cars. Okay, so we have car ready. Okay, change the So as you can see, we have all the nodes, but none of them are connected. So we just need to make connection. So we have John. यहाँ से हम लोग we can draw the edge. If you want to provide any property to this relation, like since whence they are friends, so that can be done. So ये हो गया. These two are connected. Okay. Now John also. It can be drive or on. He owns it. Create owns it. He lives in London. So create London. He's also friends with James. Okay. Oh, that's good. So yes, so now we have defined the relationship between each node as well. So we see here. Yeah, so here we can find the entries which we have defined by edges. So it says from person to car. So same way there will be entries in every edge collections. Okay. now this is how it stores. So this is just for visual perspective. Otherwise, data are stored in collections only, and either document or edge collections. So yeah, and for in Arango, if you want to retrieve the data, either we can traverse it, mainly yeah, we do traverse only. So let's see that one. We see the queries. So mainly for Arango, we use it is used AQL. So that's more like SQL only. So let's say if they define format as well. So this is the for every, if you want to get value of each document in collection. So let's say we want to form persons, right? And if you don't want any filter, this is kind of where clause we have in SQL. When we execute this, we are getting 4 persons here. So these are the all 4 person available in the collection. Okay, now we'll do traversal. So let's say we start with this John and we want to know the all the mutual, I mean second connection. So if we can see here, this is the directly connected. James is directly connected to the John. Mary is also directly connected to John, but Richard is the second connection. So how can we traverse that from? So we need to start from here and we need to go in all the direction. But we don't, we just need to consider from second stage. So we don't need to consider the first stage. So to do that, something. So this is the for every vertex is. So this is the minimum age we want to consider. So if we keep 1, it will return their first connection as well. If we keep it 2, and it will go to travels till 3 level. This is the relationship of find the ID. So yeah, we can see that only Richard has been returned because so it traversed to all the direction, but it considered only the second level. If we change it to first, yeah, all his first connection and second connection will be returned, or like will be part of the response. So there are many things we can do. We can go like restrict the direction. So we want like one way or inbound or outbound or any direction. So this is any direction. So sometimes if your database is designed in such a way that only one way direction should be supported. Yes, pretty much that's it. There are other features as well, which I mean that is provided by the ArangoDB. So mainly those are in the enterprise edition. So they provide the single started. So when all the data is stored in a single server, and smart join. So that smart join are mainly when you want to distribute the data according to the location, according they are related. Yes, and for the traversal, there are many complex queries as well. Still, I haven't explored those. Yeah, that's it. Any questions?
Sir, हेलो सर।
Yes, yes.
सर एक्चुअली मैं मतलब कलेक्शंस में देखना चाहता हूँ, मतलब कलेक्शंस के कुछ डेटा में चेंज हुआ, मतलब जो हमने एजेस कनेक्ट किए हैं, जैसे कि हमारे पर्सन टू कार्स से रिलेशन जो आपने मतलब
हम्म।
बनाया था थ्रू एज, तो हमारे कलेक्शन में कुछ चेंज आया है, मतलब ये देखना है सर।
नहीं नहीं, देखो, पर्सन से पर्सन के कलेक्शन में कोई चेंज नहीं आएगा। तो
यस सर।
और कार्स के कलेक्शन में कोई चीज नहीं आएगा। अभी दोनों के बीच में जो रिलेशन है वो फर्स्ट ऑफ
यस
ऑल कौन सा रिलेशन है उसका एक कलेक्शन होगा। तो इफ वी सी पर्सन और
राइट हो।
कार के बीच में दो है, एक ओन्स वाला है
यस सर।
और एक ड्राइव्स वाला। तो अभी ड्राइव्स वाला तो कोई नहीं दिया है हमने, बट इफ वी सी द ओन्स वाला, तो इसके अंदर डिफाइंड होता है कि भाई कहाँ से कहाँ जाता है, फ्रॉम पर्सन टू कार।
ओके, मतलब एजेस में डिफाइन होगा रिलेशन हमारा, राइट।
यस यस। तो ये दो टाइप के यहाँ पर कलेक्शन बनेंगे। एक होगा जो हमारा नॉर्मल नो सीक्वल कलेक्शन होता है वो, अभी कौन सा नोड कौन से नोड से कनेक्टेड है वो वाला होगा एज कलेक्शन के अंदर।
ओके सर।
एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? I consider that everyone understood everything. Okay, I think if I will stop recording now. Okay, that was it. If anyone has question, please let me know.
Okay, well, thanks.